Christmas special. Cursive shouldn't be taught in schools. It's not a useful skill. I think most schools don't teach cursive anymore. Cursive is a trade skill. It's pretty much only useful if you are examining old documents. And that's something you do for a job. I have no problem if you want to learn how to read cursive. It's not that hard. Writing cursive is a significantly new skill and has to be taught and can't just be learned as you try. You don't need to learn how to write cursive.
Oh, but Sabrak, what about when you do your signature? You need to be able to sign the documents to get a bank account.
No one cares. My signature is not my name in cursive. No one has ever said word one about it. I sign legal documents. If you are signing your name, it is your signature. It does not matter what it looks like. Like, you cannot say, oh, that's not your signature. You wrote it, so it is your signature. Signatures are not in cursive. You don't need to know how to write in cursive. Cursive is a dead skill. It is not useful. We type now, or we write in plain text. You only need to learn how to write in cursive if you're like making props about old stuff. If you are, yeah, I think that's the only time when you need to write in cursive is when you're creating props that are supposed to look like old documents. There's no other reason to write in cursive. It's just a harder to read script. There used to be reasons to write in cursive. They don't exist anymore. No one should be writing in cursive. Why are you writing in cursive? Useless skill. Second useless skill, diagramming sentences. There's no reason to diagram sentences. It does not help. Most people that I talk to today, young people, do not know what diagramming sentences are because you don't do it anymore because it's a useless skill. These things should not be taught in school. There's no reason to spend time teaching kids how to do these things. These are things I was taught in school and I hate it. At the time I said, there's no reason to learn these things. And the teacher was like, you just learn them. You'll find them useful later. And I'm like, I don't think I will. Now, however many decades, I don't fucking remember how old I am. It's not a useful skill. It's like, I have not used these things outside of school. Why did I learn these things? So cursive, diagramming sentences. Anything else? No, I think those are the mainly useless things that I learned in school. I've never ever used outside. Oh, some more advanced math, like anything past basic algebra, you are not going to use in the real world unless you go into a field of mathematics, which makes those things a trade skill. You don't need to learn them as basic education. The one time I was helping my dad build a ramp, and I was like. And we need to know what the angle of the ramp needs to be to come out to here. And I was like, hang on a second. I just learned about this in high school. I can do some trigonometry and find out what these angles need to be. And I went and grabbed a piece of paper and started scribbling out the notes. And he just built a jig and did it. Because you don't actually need to know the numbers of the angles to build these things. So trigonometry is a trade skill. Diagramming sentences is not even actually, I guess you could use it as a trade skill in certain contexts. I can imagine that there's a context where grammarians who are talking about writing the next what's that book that they put out each year? Oh man, I can't remember what it's called. They use it in college. It's the official English rule book. This is a thing, a rule book on how to do English. Official, proper, formal English for papers and stuff. If you're doing that, then I guess diagramming a sentence just to be able to efficiently communicate your structures to other linguists, it's fine. So yeah, that's a trade skill. Writing cursive is a trade skill. These are not things you need to know in general education. They should not be taught in schools. End of rant.